Now they come. I guess everybody likes the other room better. Stay after class. Okay. All right. Ready? We're bowing. Hup. 1, 2, 3. Salute. Okay. All right. First exercise. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, and stop. To the side. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, and stop. Hands here. Lift up. Reach down. 1, 2, 3. To your right. To your left. Center. Inhale. Exhale. Hands up. Reach down. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2. Center. Inhale. Exhale. Okay, one more time. Hands up. Reach down. 1, 2, 3. To your right. To your left. Center. Inhale. Exhale. Okay, hands in your waist. Circular movements. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1, 2. Reverse. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1, 2. Center cross. Knees. Circular movements. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1, 2. Reverse. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1, 2. Center. Hands on your waist. Neck turning. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1, 2. Back and forth. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1, 2. Center. Tilt to the side. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 1, 2. Center, rotating. 1, 2, 3. Reverse. 1, 2, and stop. Center. Hands up, pull in, inhale, exhale. Inhale, exhale. Inhale, exhale. Spread your feet. Turn your shoulders. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1, 2, 3, and stop. Okay, turn. Stretch it out. Switch. 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 Straighten the front knee. Switch. 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 Center. Okay, shake it out. Deep breathing. Inhale. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Okay, hands in your waist. Shoulder roll. Reverse. And center. Okay, press, release, exhale, inhale. Be back later? No, maybe. Okay, see ya. And stop. Deep breathing. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Okay, wrists. Reverse. Okay, palms down. Bigger circle. 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, and stop. Okay, shake it out. Side to sides. Okay, lift the knee. Okay, let's try. So insert the needle. Okay, switch the other side. Set it up so that the hand moving up is pulling the knee up as if it was attached with a string. And you kind of lift and drop, lift and drop. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, and 2. Okay. Deep breathing. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Okay, hands going to go like this. Leg swing. And sana. Switch. And sana. Okay, side to side. Switch. Okay, shake it out. Deep breathing. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Okay, good. Silk reeling. Hold the ball. Step out. Forward and back. Switch. Okay, center, cross. Switch. And center. Circular movements. Preparation. Okay, lower hoop. Shoulder height. Elbows down. and the palm. Lift the back, chin tucked in slightly. Elongate the spine. Extend. Hands up. Deep breathing. Inhale. Okay, diagonal flying. Switch. Okay, center. Cloud hands. Palms down. Lift up. Carry tiger to the mountain. Infinity sign. form the fist. Okay, palms together. Strum the lute. Turn, draw the bow. Fan through the back. Okay, raise the hand. And palms now. Deep breathing. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Okay, we'll relax a few seconds. So I'm going to spend maybe 5 minutes of the time just to address what's going to happen in 2021 for precautions and safety in the school, because we have a lot of supporters that are watching us on video, and that's one of the reasons why I do the video. And these are not just people that are outside that um, just watch the video, but they also pay a membership and they don't come. So one of my goals is to make everyone feel comfortable when they decide to come back. And in 2021, we really don't know how long it's going to take before everybody feels comfortable. But this morning, coincidentally, I read something. I think it was University of Virginia. They did a study that the excessive wiping down that everyone was doing, because back in March of last 2020, they said, oh, you could get the contact you can get the virus through touching objects and surfaces and all that. So from what they've learned today is that that's not true. Most people don't get the virus from surfaces. So they said, stop the wipe down. So that's pretty interesting. I would say that, if someone sneezed on something and you touched it and then you touch your face, probably it's still not good. But the thing is, that doesn't happen here anyways. And most of us, and we will continue to wear masks, because if you sneeze, it's going to be contained in your mask and it's not going to hit the surfaces. Most of the students here don't touch the surfaces. We have a couple of tables that we wipe those down consistently, and we keep the floors pretty clean. But so the interesting thing is that we don't have that wipe down issue, and people are afraid, then that's something that's eliminated. The other thing is they say that it's mainly through the air and through droplets. So we haven't had any problems at the academy since we opened. We haven't had any incidents. But the thing is, if there is an incident or someone has been exposed, the people have been responsible enough to quarantine themselves, so we don't have those issues because it's such a small population. So with that said, if it's an air quality thing, actually this is a coincidence, because I ordered a couple of air purification systems, and the technology behind it was developed for the astronauts, for their capsules. So this company took that technology and they made these machines, and it has the ability to kill COVID-19 germs and viruses. Every type of virus and bacteria it can handle through this machine. And each one of these machines will handle 3,000 square feet. I have about that in the two different spaces. So that air purification system will run 24/7. It takes about 6 hours to kill 99% of the bacteria in the air. So if it's running all the time, we don't have that problem. But we don't have a problem like maybe a hospital or some of these places where they have lots of people going in and out with that. We don't have it in the air per se. At least we don't, we haven't had any problems. But this is just a level of precaution so that people, when they come in, at least you know that if you're only coming here and going home, that you went to a safe environment. So that's really what, my goal is, because I want the students that are supporting to come back live, because that's the reason why they're supporting this. So at some point they'll come back. I'm not trying to market this to new people. Maybe people will come at some point, but it's just for our existing members to feel that when they come back to the school, they're going to feel like it's not a problem. And anybody that's actually back feel that this is one of the safest places. So the data on these machines, once I get the machines, should be in maybe next week. There'll be videos and stuff and links to what this machine does, and then you can go online and watch it and see it and get all that information and decide for yourself if you think the air has been purified. And one of the things I liked about it is because it also shoots out these oxygen molecules or whatever I just kind of read through it once, but it lands on all the surfaces in the room. And then if a virus or bacteria hits it, it's destroyed. So for us, it's good because, we're not a gym. We have a lot of apparatus that people will be sweating all over, which probably is not a good thing. But the apparatus that we do use and put in our hands, we won't have to worry about wiping them down like we've been doing as much, because there is some, you can do them because we have all this stuff. But the thing is, if this is doing that, then everything you're picking up is, pretty free of those viruses and so forth. So this is just a heads up. That's what's going to happen in 2021 as a moving forward. And the other thing we'll talk about, after we do the form, we're going to work on the different postures to try to improve the form. So, with that said, you're going to, so anyone that watching, like if Susan or Bill or any of the people, even Sam Fan, if you guys are watching, maybe when we get the machine, you'll feel a little bit more comfortable coming back, All right, so let's go. Sam and Robin, by the way, because Robin might say, well, what about me? Okay, ready? Preparation short form. Okay, deep breathing. Inhale, exhale. Okay, so we'll go through the long form, then we'll review some of the stuff. And actually, I mentioned a few names, but actually, the Peters, Peters and Lisa's, they're the ones that were a little bit concerned coming back. So just want to let them know. We know all the same names. Yeah. Okay, so opening shoulder width preparation. Get a little closer. Yep. Who's that? Oh, is that Zach? Oh, I haven't. I was going. Who's that guy? Oh, I know. Step up, punch down the crotch. Step up, grasp the sparrow's tail. Okay, deep breathing. So last week we worked on grass sparrow's tail and the opening movements, and we talked about right and left, forward and back and center, and we went through some of the things that might be missed when you the first round when you're learning the sequence. So just have to bear in mind that all these drills that we do is just kind of preparing the body to be familiar with dimension of movement, because right and left generally is horizontal circles or the hoop. It can also be vertical right and left. So those are two vertical and horizontal, two things I talk a lot about, because between vertical and horizontal is the exchange in dimension and space to create the patterns. If you didn't have that, then everything would be flat, and you go there, then you would have to come back and go there. But even this would be just a flat arm movement in a single plane. So we want to get more dimension in the movement. So dimension movement is not just dimensions in space like the front wall, side wall, and the ceiling on the floor, but dimension in the different components in the body. So we have to get our body familiar with space. So that's what proprioception is. And when we're dealing with something as complex as moving all your components, which are your arms and your legs, ultimately it's all tied together through your torso. So when we stand in a shoulder width stance, and we go like this, and then relax the elbow, and then sink down. That's our preparation. We do it in the drill as an exercise to kind of get that sort of pattern in there. And then referencing your body. Shoulder height, sink your elbow, and it runs right in the vertical line that your body is in. So it's not, when you lift your elbow and drop, you don't want to just go like this. You want to create the circle. Now some styles, they drop the elbow a little earlier than that and end up with the hands here. But the idea is that's more on a functional level as well. But I like to teach it so that you have true alignment of the body, and that means that when your hands are here and you go straight down, you're going to be in this vertical position along the skeletal structure alignment with your legs, because that's the vertical line. That's the truest line that gives you the most vertical support. Your spine is in a vertical axis. Your tailbone is between the legs, and you want to keep that vertical spine. Now, as familiar we are with the back, we don't realize that as soon as you tilt your head, you change your position. So you shouldn't tilt your head forward, and you shouldn't have your chin up like this. Your chin should be sort of naturally relaxed to take the tension out of the nape of the neck. So a lot of times when we think we're looking forward, there's actually a little tension here. So you want to get that out of there. So it kind of appears that you're gazing a little bit down, but it's actually just getting that to relax. Right. So when we're here, preparation is this, and we know from experience from the drills that we do this shift. Then we know that we can turn on the balls of the feet to create the 90-degree position. So that's the geometry of the footwork. And then when you bend your knees and sink, you relax the hips, the knees, and the ankles. When we lift the hands, we relax the elbow and the hands and the shoulders. So that's happening throughout your body, right? So you're going, or at least in the appendages. And then when you sink, you have to release the tension in the hips so you can keep the tailbone plumb or vertical, right? Some people might not know what the term plumb means. It's not the plum that the fruit. It's not the fruit. Plumb means that it hangs down vertically, and it's usually the same concept as a plumb bob. You know what a plumb bob is? It's what carpenters use, and it's kind of this heavy weight with a tip on it. And before they had all these electronic things to measure vertical and horizontal type things, you hang a string with a, a weight on the end of it. It's going to hang vertically down, long as there's no, side motions to it, and that's how you find the true alignment of that. So when you think of your body alignment, your tailbone as if it was vertical like a bob, you're just releasing the tension. So if you're hanging from above and sort of your tailbone is that tip, then if you were to sink down, you would maintain that vertical spine. So that's just sort of a analogy, or something to reference as an idea. So you would know that your spine is vertical throughout. So when you sit in this position, say after we pivot this foot and we sit, if you notice, if I shift my spine over to here, it's going to enter with about where the heel is in your foot, the supporting leg. So in a vertical empty stance, that's where your center line should be, and that's where the vertical line should be. It's not what you may think is in between your feet. So if your feet are, say, 1 foot apart, the vertical bubble line would end up about 6 inches between your feet. If you use that as your center line, then you would be off balance. What we have to do is move our foot to where that point is, and then bring our spine over to that, right? And then there's your stance. Then when we find the vertical line, we have 2 positions. Okay, vertical elbow, both hands. Where is this hand? It's alongside your elbow. So if you look from a side view, you would see the hands are here. Not here, but here. Okay. If we switch feet and we have the spine there, you would have the same position on the other side. So that's your vertical elbow. And then try to lift your spine a little bit like this, right? So Otis is having a little bit of trouble keeping his vertical spine because the ankle is not shifting forward enough to allow you to correct that. So it's really joint angle positions in the lower shoulder. So the ankle actually has to come forward in order for this to do that. Now, if the ankle doesn't come forward and you just bend, then that's where you get the tilt. So in order to create the vertical spine, you have to have that release ankle and the folding of the knee and the hip. So those 3 joints actually have to create that Z position. Now, if there's tension in the ankle, it's a combination of things. The calf is not releasing the tension, or the front of the shin muscle might be not releasing. So it's just something that you have to be aware of. That's what we're striving for. And that's one of the things with Tai Chi is that you have to go through this process and train your body to understand what you're trying to do. So if that's difficult because the legs are not strong enough or whatever, if you're first learning, this is one of the positions that you begin to sink your elbow, and then when you relax and go forward, you want your knee to go forward. Now you see, if this goes forward, then my spine can find that position. If it doesn't go forward and just bend the knees, you see what happens? Because your body has to compensate structurally to create and maintain vertical positions. So that's just a sample of when we go through postures, you actually constantly have to recreate and tweak the positions to get the posture for the image, which is the final position, and then you have to get your joints to cooperate by relaxing the joints. So the term they use is to fong song. Fong song means to release tension in your joints, but releasing tension in the joints is releasing tension in the muscles. So your muscles have to let go. And when we learn, especially movement, you have to start from, that ground. It's not zero, but it's closest to approaching relaxation without going completely loose. So that's something you have to discover over time from experience. So learning and all of the stuff that we're doing is an experience through doing it over and over again. And then your body itself will start to detect and get rid of any of the excessiveness. Now, when we're in this position, just taking this position and then go to horizontal, we talk about an oblique position. An oblique position is the cross hands, right? So we can cross like this, we can cross like this. So the cross hand position is a line that you have to pass through to get to the horizontal, or reversing it to get the vertical. So what that means is when we're here, in order for me to get to here, I have to make a transition. So what the transition is from here is this. And now you see it already oblique. And if I turn my hand, it's already there. You see how I got that position? 1, 2, 3. Now if I turn back like this, it's like this. But I go 1, 2, and then lift my elbow like this. You had to relax your shoulder to do that, right? Because if we went like this and just stopped, and then it would become a physical movement. So the physicality is taken away when we start to pivot off the point in the center of your hand. Okay, and then we go forward. Okay, if we were to go backward, the hand would go like this, and then like this, and fold. You see? So that's the manipulation of skeletal structure. You have to recreate the lines, the vertical, the horizontal, and the circle. So that's fundamental. It happens in everything that you do, from going from vertical to horizontal, horizontal to vertical. It's not the physical side of the movement where you're just going 1, 2, 3. The physical side of the movement takes it into a stage of isolation. Now I'm going through this for us in the class. The people that are watching, it might be like way over their head. The people that have been doing it that are watching, actually this is what you should be understanding as how to develop this transition. Because when I break it down like this and I turn and then begin to go like this, you have this hand, and this hand would do this. Now, I mentioned here that when we turn and we do this, that it pivots off of this hand. That's actually what you're doing when you do this. Right? So when we turn and we sink and we turn, that's where the press is and grasp the sparrow's tail. Now when I separate the hands, I'm finding alignment in the corner. And I draw down like this, and this would be a left side grasp the sparrow's tail. Okay. So every one of these transitions ends up passing through vertical, horizontal, oblique as a connection between the right and left sides, tied through your spine and the waist. Now, if you're not sitting in this position with your spine there, then your rotation to right and left is going to be a bit compromised. And the thing is, why the ankle has to be loose when you turn here and here? Because your knee has to make an adjustment that allows you to go to this position and then this position. So this position where the knee is not over the toe, because of the structural positioning to allow your body to stay in balance, becomes a new position. So a lot of times when people do Tai Chi and they have problems with their knees doing the form, it's because the ankle and the hip is too tight. It's not because you're bending your knee and taking it out of alignment. You know, a lot of, I guess exercise people tell you not to go over your knee. That's only one position you should not go over your knee. But we're doing transition in space. So your knee does go over your ankle, over your feet. It moves if the rest of it moves. Obviously, if you go in a position like this and you're holding it and it's all rigid because of the musculature being too tight, holding it, and you force the movement, it creates the strain. The strain in the sides of your knee, the meniscus area, or even that actually is getting stressed because of the tension in here. It's not because of the movement, it's because of the tension. So injury happens from tension, not, sort of a conflict in motion. So that's why even the football players had a lot of knee problems when they get too strong. They have to have some give to it. Because when something is giving, it's pliable. It's sort of like the willow tree stands during a storm when the oak tree falls. Because the oak tree is rigid, it's stiff. So you're fighting the forces. So if the body doesn't fight the forces, then you're not going to be stressing the joint. So that's one of the things I want people to understand, because we have some of these challenging positions. You say, well, that's going to hurt my knee or my joint. But potentially any of this will hurt your knee and your joint if you don't move correctly. So we have to learn to let go of the tension and let the body understand where the position should be when you go through the movements and then end up in that position. So let's get to the right side, because this is the side that we do most in the traditional form. We're in the vertical, we turn, sink the elbow, and then come to here. So you come past your knee and you turn, right, just about to here, and then come forward. And then we're going to separate the hands and turn to that corner. Now when we draw toward the center and we turn the body, you end up here. Now we have to sink to create the horizontal position and then come back to center. Now when we sink like this and we come to horizontal center, all of the movements have sound transition forcefully, because none of those movements leave your center or the distance from the body. See? Movements that are too far from the body become reaching. Movements too close to the body become compressing and too hard for you to move. So you have to find the average position that allows you to maneuver through this space, because ultimately, as a martial art or self-defense or functionality, you have to deal with this space. Anything above that is a different action. Anything above this level requires lifting, right? So we don't lift from here, we lift from here. And then we turn, and then we turn. So if you understand that oblique line that we talk about, all your Kung Fu or Tai Chi or whatever goes through that same process. And the reason why it's consistently like that is because we're dealing with the same anatomy. We're dealing with a different style, but the functionality of that motion is the same. So if you learn it in one, you'll get it in the other. And that's what happens when we work with postures, that through the experience of trying to perfect this idea, turn, sink, come to center, 1, 2, 3, 4, sit back and sink. So sinking the elbow, relaxing the shoulder, is one of the most important ideas that we have in any of the martial arts or what we teach. Sink the elbow, relax the shoulder. So sinking the elbow is dropping down. Relaxing the shoulder is allowing that to happen, right? Lifting is the opposite of sinking, right? But you still have to go through center. So this is lifting. And then relaxing allows you to do that. So we have that in Carry Tiger to the Mountain, right? In Carry Tiger to the Mountain, don't we do this? 1. This is actually a horizontal floating up. So this is one of the exceptions where you're just going straight up as a direction. And then you turn. You sink down and cross. Now if we cross back and reverse that action, you would see that that's the lifting in the arm in Jade Lady Work Shadow, in Beat the Tiger, in all of those. So those motions are reversible. Anything that you do in one direction can happen in the opposite direction following the same pattern. So the crisscross movement is passing through center. And the reason why we pass through center is because we have to track our center all the time, because we have two hemispheres of the body that have to move right and left and right, and your body has to be familiar with those joint angle positions. So while we're just working with grasp the spiral, it's the fundamental posture that has the ward off, roll back, press, and push, which is the horizontal circle, the press, the push, and then when we draw down on the oblique, you have the roll back, and that's the slanting back. So this cross and this is just a side profile of what is the oblique, you see. So when you're dealing with space, we don't see anything along the sides because perceptually we don't see that. Because a lot of times, well, most of the time we see everything in 2 dimensions. When you go into 3-dimensional sort of understanding, your body has to, pick up on that. So that's where we kind of lose it. So where's the 3-dimensional movement is each one of these movements actually change. And then you have a forward, a back, a right, a forward, a left, all of these. So all that is a circle. So we can make a circle flat like this. We can create a roundness like this. We can create a roundness like this. We can sink the elbow like this and push. So all of the things that we're doing is creating those circles. So you say, well, where do you get all that? Well, you form the fist. You're already creating that circle. So when we grasp the sparrow's tail, if I make a fist, there's a motion, right? That motion, did you use a bit of that to create that? So that's how we build continuity of movement. If we build the continuity of movement consistently and work it each time, that's why you have to do these drills. You have to do the drills for the body to develop an understanding. It's sort of like the ABCs to movement. If you don't go through, if you just go from A to Z and you missed everything between, you're going to be missing a transition somewhere. So this is what we have to understand as an idea. So when we're here, vertical and horizontal, forward, turn your waist, slant backwards, invert the front hand, so you flip it over, go across horizontally, but it's really a circle like this. And then once we get to here, you correct it back into center. And then you start to hook. In a practice, you would just hook like this to get that position. But when you hook, you're actually turning, and you already have your 45. All right, so, okay, we'll bow out. Ready? Up. Salute.